Silver has doubled in price. This is not a drill. Hello everybody, Silver Picker here, and welcome to the Silver Picker Squad. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you have absolutely noticed the meteoric rise in silver prices in the last few months. I mean, just a few months ago, you could have bought silver at 12, 13, 14 bucks an ounce, and today it has risen to 28, 29, and even $30 an ounce, which is absolutely bananas. Now, if you're kicking yourself for not having gotten in at the ground floor several months ago, well, I'm here to tell you, do not despair, because there are still tons of amazing opportunities in investing in physical silver today. And whether you're a newbie that's never touched a silver coin before, or a beginner that has sort of dipped their toes into silver, or even somebody that's more advanced than that, this video is for you because I'm going to be teaching you the knowledge, skills, and tools that you need to start investing in physical silver confidently, intelligently, and of course successfully. We're going to be going into the who, what, when, where, why, and how of silver, and at the end of this video, if you stay tuned for that, I am going to be giving you a list of my sleeper picks for some of the most undervalued silver on the market that you can buy today and potentially make a mint on going forward. So enough with the jibber jabber, let's get started and see who should be investing in silver. The who is easy, right? The who is you. It's you, it's me, and it's anybody that wants to have a more secure and robust financial future, right? Everybody knows to invest in stocks, everybody knows to invest in bonds, you got a 401k, and the dream, of course, is to buy your own property. But a lot of people seem to forget precious metals like gold and silver in their portfolio. Maybe it seems antiquated, maybe it's confusing, but in this video I want to give you some thoughts on why I think it should be part of your portfolio, if not even a bigger part than you might have expected. Now, I will give the disclaimer, this is not financial advice, these are my opinions, so take them with what you will and enjoy the rest of the video because we are now moving on to the most important one, which is why should you invest in silver? So there's lots of reasons why you might want to invest in silver, but I'm going to give you the three most compelling ones. And the first one, which is arguably the most important one, is that it is an incredible hedge against inflation. Now, you may have read that before and not really understood what it meant, so I'm going to try and explain it, maybe oversimplify it a bit, but you're definitely going to get a sense of what that means. And first off, inflation. Inflation is generally characterized by the loss of purchasing power within a currency. So if you want to buy an item, you're going to need more and more and more of that same currency to buy the same item. So let's use an example that'll really highlight why silver is such a good hedge against inflation. In 1940, a Hershey bar cost 5 cents. So with just this little dime from the 1940s era, I could have bought 2 full Hershey bars. Today, a Hershey bar costs $1.50. So to get 2 of them, I'd have to pay $3, or instead of 1 dime, 30 dimes. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So back then, I could pay this dime and get 2 Hershey bars. However, because the dimes back then were composed of 90% silver, the silver contained within this actual coin right in my hands right now is worth over $2, which means that the purchasing power of this dime has done a really, really good job at retaining its value. Because I could still today sell this dime and with the money buy a Hershey bar and even get 50 cents change back. Well, while it still won't buy me 2 full Hershey bars, it has done a heck of a lot better job at retaining its value through the course of inflation than the US dollar, right? 1 silver dime versus 30 modern US dimes that do not have any precious metals in them. So that is the power of silver in terms of hedging against inflation. The value of the actual silver that you have today will retain its purchasing power much, much better into the future than fiat currencies like the dollar. Another reason why you might want to invest in silver is that you can beat the system. That's right, you can buy silver for below its value. I mean, you couldn't do that with stocks, right? Imagine trying to buy Apple stock at a 15 or 20% discount. I don't even think there's a mechanism that would allow you to do that. But with silver, you can go to an independent buyer and negotiate with them, and they may sell you their silver for under spot. I can't tell you how many times, countless times honestly, that I've bought silver for 20, 30% under spot and then resold it for 10% above spot. And everybody gets a good deal there, right? The seller gets to sell all their silver in one fell swoop, and maybe they're even making a profit on it. you get a great deal, and the person you're selling it to is only paying 10 or so percent over spot, and I'm making a 30% profit. So you can't do that with most investments. You definitely can't do that in the stock market. So being able to beat the system and find deals even when the price of silver is high is definitely a good reason to buy silver. And the third reason is that it's fun. It's not just a way of investing, but it's also a hobby. I mean, having a bunch of these cool silver coins to collect and to learn history and to learn geography and about economics is a huge benefit. I mean, also, it's not so fun necessarily investing in stocks. You can't sit there and examine your stock portfolio like you can an old silver coin. And that is a real benefit because the more you're interested in something, the more time you're going to be willing to invest in learning about it, and you'll become a smarter and more sophisticated investor just by the fact that you enjoy it. So don't discount the fact that it's also a hobby that's fun to collect and to grow with, aside from just the purely financial reasons for investing in silver. So if you're still watching, you're probably intrigued by silver and you've been convinced that you should probably buy some silver, but you don't know what to buy. And it can be very overwhelming to a new investor about what to buy because there are so many different options out there. So I'm going to be giving you the 7 different categories of silver items that you could buy, and I'm going to start with the ones that I think are best for beginners, all the way down to the ones that I think beginners should avoid, and maybe honestly every investor should avoid. The first thing that I think every silver investor should start with is US junk silver coins. Now, don't let the word junk silver throw you off. Junk silver just means that these coins don't have any numismatic value or coin collector value for you nerds. But really, what I like about these coins is that they are recognizable, right? Every single one of them is very recognizable. They're minted by a government, so the weights and purities are definitely trustworthy. And even with all of that, they still have very, very low premiums, meaning you're just basically going to be paying the actual silver value or maybe a little bit more, maybe 10% or tops 20% more. But you can get these for spot and sometimes even below spot price, which makes them a fantastic place to start. And the reason why you want them to be trustworthy and recognizable is that it makes it so much easier to sell when you're ready to sell. There's nothing worse than buying silver at a great price and then silver going up and then you're not able to sell the actual silver items because people are suspicious of them. A close second are US silver dollars like Morgan dollars and peace dollars. The reason why they're not quite as good as the halves, quarters, and dimes is because they do come with a premium. So especially Morgan silver dollars. But I really like them because they're big and chunky, they're almost an ounce of silver, and you can usually get them for a lot less of a premium than you could other silver bullion items. Plus, they're really cool and do sometimes have some numismatic value as well. Now, the third thing are 1 ounce government issue silver bullion coins. Now, you may not know this, but every single government, or I should say many governments, issue silver bullion coins specifically for investors. The US issues American silver eagles every single year. The Canadian government has silver maple leaves. Great Britain has Britannias. Mexico has Libertads, and the list goes on. Those are amazing because, again, they're from trustworthy governments, so you know that the purity and the size are accurate. They are really, really beautiful to collect, which is just an added bonus. And they're very easy to sell later on because they're so popular because of this trustworthy element. Now, the only downside is that they usually have very hefty premiums. So you may be paying 10, 20, 30, or even more 40% above spot price for an American Silver Eagle. However, the reason why I still think they're great is because even when you sell them, they really do retain their value and you can get that premium back. So I definitely think that getting some of these really big, well-known government-issued bullion coins is definitely a good place to start too. Next are junk silver coins from foreign countries. So similar to US coins, they're coins that have no numismatic value but have the silver value. And these can be a great opportunity. In fact, some of them are going to appear on my sleeper list at the end of the video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But the great thing about foreign junk silver is that at pretty much any local coin store, you can go through their box of junk silver and find foreign silver coins that they will sell you at spot, which is amazing. So you can buy these with no premium. The downside, of course, is that because all these different countries and all these different eras have different weights, different purities, and all sorts of different transitions even within the same coin, right? So one coin made in, let's say, 1919 might be sterling silver, but in 1920 it was reduced to 50% silver. So all of these different things make a lot of buyers suspicious and uncomfortable with it, which definitely makes it harder to sell going forward, especially if you have a big collection with lots of different weights and purities. It's going to be very hard to actually sell it all at once and get your money back. But otherwise, if you're willing to have the patience to go through it and to catalog everything, it could be a really, really good opportunity. Now next is really interesting. It is just simply silver items. So non-coins, non-bullion items, but just silver items that you might know from your everyday life, like jewelry or silverware or goblets, candelabras, platters, all sorts of stuff like that that's made out of silver, often sterling silver, which is 92.5% pure, which is even more than US junk silver, but for whatever reason, they are not that popular. And part of the reason is because they're from lots of different companies, so you don't really know if you can trust them. Also, there's a lot of fakes out there, and they have different weights and they're kind of unwieldy. But I still think that they have a really, really good opportunity, especially for new collectors and new investors, because you can also learn a lot about the process for verifying and testing authenticity, and it will really get your feet wet real quick into the world of silver. Now, the next thing, I'm gonna come out and say it, this is gonna be a little controversial. The next thing is bars, silver bars, and I'm gonna say, I don't think they're a good investment. I don't think they're a good investment for most people, especially beginners. And the reason is because A, bars are much, much more easily faked than coins, right? Especially if you're getting bigger and bigger bars, 10, 20, 50, or 100 ounce bars. Those could be silver plated on the outside, but be stuffed with tungsten, a worthless metal. So you definitely want to be careful with those. Also, they seem to have insanely high premiums. In a lot of cases, a lot of the bars have crazy premiums, and you'd be better off buying single ounces that you could do a lot better with when you come to resell them. Selling a 100 ounce bar or a kilo bar is not always the easiest thing. So I think if you're gonna get into bars, make sure that you have a lot of knowledge. If you're gonna get into like hand poured and vintage bars, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's more like coin collecting in my opinion than bullion investing. And I think that as a beginner, there are so many other things that you could be spending your money on in the world of silver that I think you should just leave out bars entirely. But hey, if you disagree, let me know in the comments below why. And last on my list are generic silver rounds. Now, if you're new, you may confuse these with coins because they're the same shape as a coin, but don't be fooled. The reason why they're called generic rounds is because they're produced by private companies, not governments. And that's what makes them kind of untrustworthy, and you're not even sure of the weight, you're not even sure of the purity, so you might want to avoid those. And while they have really cool designs and they can be fun to collect, they're really hard to verify, and a lot of people don't trust them. That makes them even harder to sell. They do have lower premiums, so if you know what you're doing, you could get some good deals on them. And certainly I have some generic silver rounds in my stack, but in general, I would say avoid them. Go for the government issued stuff, go for the junk silver. You won't go wrong with those, and you really can, make some mistakes with these silver rounds because there are a lot of fakes. Where you buy from is almost as important as what you buy, because if you can find a trustworthy source, you can get rid of a lot of headaches and potentially save yourself a lot of financial distress in the future. But before I get to tell you where I think you should be buying your silver from, if you don't mind, please take a moment to like this video and even share it with your friends. And if you're not subscribed, most of you watching unfortunately are not subscribed, but there's so much awesome information on this channel, a lot of fun stuff, and if you join me for the ride, I would love it if you'd hit that big old red subscribe button. I put a lot of work into this particular video. I want to teach people and spread the word about gold and silver investing, and you guys can help me do that by simply just hitting the like button, sharing it with your friends on social media, and hitting the subscribe button. I would definitely really appreciate it. So now that you've done that, let's get into where you should be buying silver. The number one place where I think you should be buying your silver from is from private sellers. Now, this does mean that you need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to verify whether something is real or fake, because you could lose your shirt if you don't know what you're doing. But assuming you've done the research and you know what is a real silver coin or what is a real silver piece of bullion or a silver spoon, you know how to test it. I just did a video last week on how to test silver, so you can check that out in the card right here. But once you know what you're doing, buying from private sellers is amazing because there are lots of non-financial factors that go into their reason for selling, right? They might be just busy and they don't want to have to deal with selling things individually. They'd rather sell everything at a discount and get rid of it all at once. Now imagine a guy that inherits 100 ounces of silver from his grandfather. He doesn't care about it, he doesn't know about it, he just wants a fair deal and he wants to get rid of it all at once. You can go to him and say, look, this is what it's worth. I'm willing to buy it at a 85% of the value, so giving me a 15% discount. What do you say? And it's up to them whether to take it or leave it. And they usually will say yes. So you'll buy it at a 15% discount, and then you can either keep it in your stack for long term or resell it, and you could sell it at 10 or 20% over spot and end up making like 20 or 30% profit, which is absolutely fantastic. That's something that you can't usually do when you're buying at from more established sellers. So I love buying at garage sales, estate sales, off Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I mean, I have basically built my entire business and my entire precious metals stack from buying from these sources, and it has done me really, really well. The next best place, which is probably the best place to start for beginners, is your local coin shop. Your local coin shop is a place where you can have a relationship with the owner there. In almost every case, they're super nice, they're super helpful, and they love getting new people into silver and coin collecting, and they will absolutely help you. And they're usually long-term thinking people, so they're not gonna have you come in and rip you off the first time so that you never come back. They're gonna wanna give you good deals, they're gonna wanna give you fair deals so that you keep coming back and become a long-term customer. And having a good local coin shop is truly a gift, and those of you out there who have had them in the past but now live in an area where you don't have them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So support your local coin shop, rub their back and they'll rub yours. It is absolutely, I think, the best place to start for a true beginner that doesn't really know anything about coin collecting or precious metals investing. Now, I am well aware that a lot of you watching right now don't have access to a local coin store. Maybe you don't live near one, or maybe just because what's going on in the world right now, either it's closed or you don't feel comfortable going out into public into one of these local coin stores. And I totally respect and understand that. But thankfully, in the year 2020, with all the technology we have, there are plenty of amazing online bullion dealers that you can access right from your home. And there are a ton of them that are really respectable and upstanding, but of course my favorite is SD Bullion. SD Bullion is amazing because frankly, they almost always have the lowest prices on the best silver. They have a huge selection, and what's important to me is that the leadership is extremely ethical and they absolutely put people over profit. And I can tell you that for sure because I've interviewed them and they have literally tens of thousands of positive 5-star reviews all over the internet. You can look it up yourself. And if you want to see what my picks and my recommendations for silver on their website are, you can go to sdbullion.com/silverpicker and see what my recommendations are. So check it out, links below, sdbullion.com/silverpicker. They are a fantastic, fantastic option. But of course, if there are other dealers out there that you want to use, you can find them and use them as well. There are certainly lots of other places you can buy silver, but the last one on my list is eBay. And eBay is totally a double-edged sword. There are amazing, amazing opportunities to be had on eBay. I mean, literally last week, a buddy of mine who's in the business told me that he bought a watch that was selling for $150 because he knew that that particular watch had two versions, one gold and one not gold, and he could tell that that one was the gold one. No one else could. He bought it, 18 karat gold, and he made almost $2,000 on that deal. Absolutely incredible. There are tons and tons of deals to be had in precious metals on eBay if you know what you're looking for. However, the downside is that there are tons and tons and tons of scams and fake coins being sold on eBay. And if you don't know what you're doing, you might end up getting ripped off. And worse, because there are some really good fakes, you may not find out that you bought a fake until years later when it's too late. So definitely take eBay with a grain of salt. There are some opportunities to be had out there, but there are of course risks. And like I said before, in terms of the fakes, there's a lot of fakes coming out of China, so please avoid websites like wish.com, AliExpress, and basically any place online where they're selling silver at a significant discount below spot. Be suspicious, pass on it, and buy it from a reputable dealer. All right, so you're ready to buy, right? You're about to click that order button. But then you think to yourself, wait a minute, but is this actually a good deal? Is this a good value for the silver I'm buying? Well, now I'm going to tell you how much you should be paying. And the simplest way to calculate the value of silver is just to first understand what the value of the silver itself is. And the way you do that is you find out what the spot price is, which is generally the price per troy ounce of silver. So today it's $28.50 per troy ounce of silver. Then you multiply that by the number of ounces you have. So let's say you have 1 ounce, right? That's $28.50 times 1. And then you need to multiply it by the purity in percentages. So let's say you have an item that's 1 ounce, but it's only 50% silver. Then you're going to have to multiply that $28.50 by 1 by 0.5. But if it's 100% silver, or typically described as 0.999 pure, then you're going to multiply that by 99.9%. And that's the basic way that you get the value of the silver. However, as we discussed earlier, most silver bullion pieces, because it's not just raw silver right out of the ground, somebody had to put money and time into turning it into a coin or a bar or a piece of jewelry, there is a premium above the spot price of the silver. And premiums can vary wildly, right? In my opinion, silver bullion, when you buy scrap silver, you should be paying no more than spot. So if you're buying like sterling silver spoons or a broken piece of jewelry, you should be paying no more than spot. On junk US silver coins, I generally don't like to pay more than 10%, and on government issued coins, I don't like to pay more than 20%. However, I will give a disclaimer that prices and premiums have been going absolutely insane since Corona hit, right? There have been times where things have had 50% or 100% premiums, where in the past they only had 20% premiums. So what I'll say, for normal times, you can go by those percentages that I recommended, but for today, what I really recommend is you take a look at the market, see what's out there, see what makes sense to you, and then think about it logically. Is this something that I can buy now and reasonably be able to get that back in the future? So do some research, get some more knowledge, and then you will have all the tools you need to know whether something is a good deal or not. Now, before we get into my sleeper list of the best silver to buy, the most undervalued silver to buy, we're going to talk about when to buy. It's not as simple as it sounds. I mean, the adage says, buy low, sell high. Of course, but it's easier said than done. I mean, you can try and time the market and buy silver when it's really low and then wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years down the line to resell. But if you're going to become a real serious silver stacker or silver investor, you're going to want to cost average your buys. So that means buying at regular intervals and averaging your cost out over time. I mean, think about it like this. Let's say you have $5,000 you want to invest in silver, and the silver price is $28. If tomorrow you buy all the silver right now at $28, then you've bought all the silver and you've used up all of your money. Now, let's say the next day silver drops to $25 an ounce. Now, you're down $3 an ounce, and you've got no more money to buy anything else. So all you can do is sit and wait and hope that silver goes up, or sell it and cut your losses, neither of which are great options. However, let's say you've got that $5,000 and you decide to cost average your purchases. So today you buy at $28, $1,000 worth. Tomorrow it drops down to, let's say, $25, like we said, you buy another $1,000 worth. Now, because you bought 1,000 at 28 and 1,000 at 25, your cost average is actually $26.50. So now you're only down $1.50 instead of $3. And if you keep doing that, yes, your upside may be a little bit lower, but you will dramatically lower your risk and your loss potential, which is probably the smarter way to invest long term. So take it or leave it. You can decide to try and time the market and go for the big gambles, but in my opinion, you should try and cost average, buy, let's say, silver every week or every month, put a little bit, put the same amount in every time, and you will end up with a nice silver stack at an average cost that is reasonable. Now, I also have a little bit of a controversial opinion on when to buy silver, and that's for you specifically watching right now. You should buy silver right now. I mean, like today, like right after you finish watching this video, go on sdbullion.com/silverpicker, see what the deals that I'm recommending are, and buy something. And that's, by the way, not just like a shameless plug for myself. I'm genuinely saying that because a lot of people who are new to this get stuck with analysis paralysis. And what that means is they'll read articles and watch videos, and all that will happen is they'll get overwhelmed and they'll say, I don't know what's a good deal, I don't know what to buy, and they'll basically just shut down. And honestly, that's what happened to me in the early years of Bitcoin. I found out about Bitcoin back in 2011. I really was pretty early on that, but I started doing research and reading and not understanding, and I basically ended up just saying it's too much and I gave up on it. Had I just put $100 into it, I would have made a fortune. And that's kind of what I'm telling you today. I'm not saying that silver is gonna explode like Bitcoin did, but I'm not telling you to mortgage your house or put $10,000 into silver right now, but right now, buy a few ounces, put $100, $200 into silver. It's not gonna break the bank, it's not gonna ruin your life if you lose that or if you decide that you're not interested, but what it will do is make you have skin in the game, and that's really important because once you have skin in the game, you're going to be paying attention a lot more to what's going on in the market, what are the factors that will raise or lower silver prices, and once you have the physical silver in your possession, you can examine it, you can see what real silver looks like, you can see how it feels, how it sounds, how it looks, how it even smells, and then you'll be able to know when you see other silver items that are similar, whether they're real or fake. It'll definitely help you. And once you have them in your possession, you may say, you know what, this isn't for me, this is not what I'm interested in, and then you can either resell it or put them in a shoebox, save them for a rainy day, but you'll have learned and you'll have been able to make a real educated decision on whether it's something that you want to invest in long term or whether this was a nice trial but you're done with it. And that's why I think you should start today instead of pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off. So that was the who, what, when, where, why, and how of silver bullion investing. Definitely cool, but as promised, I also have a list of specific silver bullion items that I think are total sleepers, that I think are undervalued in the market, and if you buy them today, you may make a mint down the line. And you'll be coming back to this video and thanking me in the comments below, I'm sure. And on that note, if I missed anything in the who, what, when, where, why, and how of silver, put it down in the comments below. We would definitely love to learn from you. Number one on my sleeper list are 40% silver US coins. Now, you probably know about the 40% US Kennedy half dollars, and I've talked about those in previous videos. Those are a great deal, but there's also 40% Eisenhower dollars out there as well. And both of those types of coins can often be bought for below spot, even from dealers. I have countless times been at coin shows or coin dealers who have offered me tons and tons of 40% silver coins at or even a few percent below spot. I can guarantee you that that will not be the case forever. People are going to become wise to that because they're still big chunky silver coins, and if you can buy them at a good deal now, I am confident, beyond positive, that those will be selling at a premium down the line. As I alluded to earlier, sterling silver items are an incredible opportunity to buy silver at really low prices. I mean, think about it. Everyone and their grandmother has a sterling silver set of cutlery or a platter or a tea pourer or something like that. And you can often get them at garage sales or flea markets at really amazing prices. And if you keep your eye out and you buy a little bit here and there, you could end up with a really serious silver stack just in cutlery and goblets and stuff like that. You definitely don't want to miss out. Now the next sleeper are 50% silver coins from Great Britain. Now, in 1919 and earlier, silver coins from Great Britain were sterling silver, or 92.5% silver. But between 1920 and 1947, all the coins from Great Britain were minted in 50% silver, which is a pretty low silver value. However, it's still silver, some of the coins are really chunky, and you can go to basically any local coin store or a coin show, dig through their junk silver foreign bin, and get them at spot. I mean, again, that will not last forever. I can guarantee you that. So buy those when you have the opportunity because they are still really, really good silver coins, and they're also pretty interesting. Now, if 40% and 50% silver are not your bag, well, there are some sleepers that are much, much higher purity. You can actually get 90% silver coins, so same as the US, by buying coins from Panama. That's right, Balboas from Panama actually track the same specs as US coins from that era, and you can get 90% silver coins at usually lower prices than you could US junk silver. So again, look through those bargain bins, look through those junk silver boxes, and you can get the exact same coins, the exact same value, the exact same purity, the exact same weight coins from Panama as in the US, and you can get them at a much, much cheaper price. And I definitely think that that won't last forever either. So if you see Panamanian Balboas at a really good price, at or below spot, definitely pick them up. And last but not least, the sleeper of all sleepers, what I basically founded my entire channel on is buying broken sterling silver jewelry. There are so many pieces of broken sterling silver jewelry out there at pennies on the dollar. I mean, you go to a garage sale and you see a mismatched silver earring, the person who's selling it, they don't think about it in terms of silver. They think about it as the fact that it's missing one of the earrings, and they'll probably sell it for 25 cents. It might have $3 or $4 worth of silver in it. Same thing for bracelets and necklaces. You can buy so much broken or damaged or old sterling silver jewelry for pennies on the dollar, and if you don't want to have that in your stack, fine, buy it, resell it at spot, and then take that money and buy silver coins or silver bullion with it. And it's basically just trading up and buying silver bullion at a huge, huge discount. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. You won't go wrong. Wow, that was a lot of information. So I'm gonna tell you, start the video over and watch it again, and then watch it again, and then watch it again. Because if you're a beginner, I'm sure a lot of this information was really thrown at you and difficult to sort of absorb. But the more you watch this and the more you get into silver, the more you're gonna understand about how to invest in it wisely, and you're going to become better and better and more sophisticated and hopefully really, really successful with it. Now, if you think I missed something, whether on the list of who, what, when, where, why, and how, or on my sleeper list, please put it down in the comments below. We would all love to learn from you and love to hear about it. If you like this video, if you learned from it, and if you want to support my mission in informing, educating, and entertaining people all about coin collecting, precious metals investing, and personal finance, please throw me a like. Please share the video. Hit that big old red subscribe button. Really, like right now, hit that red subscribe button. It won't hurt, it won't bite. And if you want to support my channel in a more tangible way, please consider participating in my Patreon campaign. The links are below. I've got a lot more awesome videos about coin collecting, precious metal stacking coming down the pike. So stay tuned, and until then, Silver Picker out. A huge, huge thank you to all of my wonderful patrons. You guys probably noticed that the sound quality of my videos has improved dramatically, and that's because I bought a brand new microphone, all thanks to my Patreon supporters. You guys rock, and thanks for letting us all protect our ears.